All right. Hey, y'all, and welcome to Reaction Video Saturday. Today, we're going to be reacting to teachers crashing out, not students, teachers. And I'm going to just be giving you some reflections and my reaction to it. The way I might, I'm going to try not to talk too much, but, how I am. But if you don't know, if this your first time watching, you will see. Sometimes I just interject where I can, but we want to just watch and see what we can come up with. Y'all join in. Let's join in the conversation. Now, this first one, this is a substitute, and I've done this before. Whenever you got to set the standard when you out. First of all, I don't play that. I'm this and I'm that. I don't play. You got to let them know.
Somebody wants to get in my face and play games with me because I really am not the one. Like I said, I'm Miss Renee. You have an assignment that you're going to do. And if you're not going to do your work, that's on you, but you're not going to disrespect me. Because I have an education. And my kids have an education. So if you don't want yours, that's on you. But you're not going to be rude to me about it. I don't raise my kids to disrespect adults.
Now that's true. You don't have to be disrespectful. If you're not going to do your work, that's your choice. But I'm gonna put this grade in the grade book. This is what your teacher told me you had to do, and so I'm gonna make a list of these. These are the people who did the assignments because you're gonna turn your paper back in at the end, so I can know who did it, and your teacher will know. That's the only. But when but also students who don't care about education, like the person who is recording this, he probably don't care that you got an education. Listen, let me tell y'all a story. One time as a sub, I wasn't a sub. One of my friends was subbing at my school. And one of my fifth graders, my friend that was subbing, she came in real angry and upset. She was like, "Oh my God, Mr. Demby, get her out of my room." And I was like, "What is going on in here?" And so she came and told me what the fifth grader told her. One of the fifth grade told her, "Look at you. That's why you 30 and still subbing. You don't even have your own life together, and you trying to teach us." And hmm, some of these kids do not respect education and respect authority. So you saying, "I got an education, I got mine, you got to get yours," that don't mean nothing to them. Because most of the time, people feel like teachers don't get paid nothing anyway. So them kids be looking like, really and truly, because when I first started teaching, I was only making 26,000 a year. But the manager at McDonald's was making 35,000 a year. I had went to college for 4 years and I was making 26. The manager at McDonald's don't have to go to college, but they was making 35. This was in 2001. So, a lot of times kids don't respect that because kids probably thinking, well, you got all this education, but you in here subbing. You never know. Anyway, I'm going to keep going.
0, and that gives us the antiderivative plus the constant of integration. Now, if we look at, why isn't this, are you kidding me? This is a permanent marker. Who swapped this? You think this is funny? Do you have any?
Hey, you cannot blame them kids because you didn't pay attention to which marker you picked up, even if one of them did switch it. Now, that's a prank that I can get with. Because I'm like that too. I just pick up marker, pick up stuff. Sometimes I don't pay attention, but you can't blame them because you didn't pay attention. If they were up there on the board, you would expect them to pay attention. Anyway, I'm going to keep going.
You cannot keep sitting back there scrolling while I'm up here pouring this into you. Do you hear me? No, you don't. If you did, I'd see it in your I am not a background noise machine. This is calculus, and it matters.
Listen, that's another thing. That is why I do not like teaching lectures. I don't like those classes like that where the teacher just lectures at the front. I just feel like it's very ineffective because only there's a few people that are actually listening to the lecture. The rest of the people, especially in this social media world, the rest of the people have checked out. They scrolling, they texting, they trying to do that's why I like to make my class so exciting that, we are up and moving, we are doing things. If I have to take that lecture hall and turn it into, you over here, you work with this, y'all do this over here, let's do this over here, let's do that. We gonna be up and moving and doing things in this room. We are not gonna be just sitting listening to me. That's how I feel like. I don't. So anyway, watch this. This another one. This big lecture hall. All these kids in here, and they not listening. They not really paying attention. They not even actively engaged in note writing. Back in the day when we went to lecture halls, you had to take notes. So you didn't have time to do any of these things like this. Watch this prank.
These students took the light remote and kept changing the brightness of the lights, which led this teacher to absolutely freak out.
Okay. Alkanes have a higher... saturated hydrocarbons. The sigma... Okay. Somebody have the light remote? They say they're going to fix this technology, and it never... There's a beta bond and a sigma bond. And when most reactions occur at the double bond level. No! Why? I'm sick of this!
See, in that case, I don't, I know it's hard to figure out who did that, but me, I would have that. Now, I don't believe in punishing the whole class because of one person. But if those two girls or if they didn't come forward, I would have just said, who did it? Who has the remote? Bring it to me. And then if they didn't come forward, that's when all hell, it would have been hell to pay. Because how that's the only time I punish the whole class. So that if you not gonna tell the truth, somebody better tell me. That's the only time I'm petty like that. Any other time, I don't believe in being petty and punitive. Normally, and if that person came down, I would say, okay, that was funny, but please let's not do that again. Okay, now let's move back to our lesson. But but if they would have, I don't know, I ain't do it, I don't know. Okay, then watch this here. Anyway.
How many times do I have to say it? You cannot just skip the reasoning and plug numbers in. This right here is the foundation of the whole theorem. I've written it on the board, I've emailed it, I have said it every single week, and half of you turned in work that ignores it entirely.
This kid brought a giant pencil out for being a phony tough guy.
You are a disrespectful man.
Y'all, he done already went too far because he in that boy face. Anytime you feel like you got to get in that baby face like that, you need to step away, sir. I'm going to keep going.
That doesn't listen to anyone. After 5 times of asking you to listen, you don't listen. You are a phony tough guy. I'm fucking phony. Phony. You're tapping. You can tap all day long. Tapping all day. You don't listen to anyone. Tap respectfully asking you to put your phone down. You don't. They're respectfully asking you to stop talking. You don't. You just don't stop. I'm trying to get louder. I'm trying to get closer so you hear the instructions. Because you're not hearing the instructions.
You don't need to touch your face with my face. That's the thing. You don't have to get in my fucking bubble. You do not have to get in my fucking bubble. And you spitting on me too. Don't say shit. Don't say shit.
You are so tough. Your toughness is really intimidating.
I'm gonna stop and go full. Let me go full screen for 1 minute, because if you get to that point with a student, it's time for both of y'all to walk away. And if the student can't, thank goodness that student had the restraint not to like engage into fight or fist fight with him. Because really, if you had spit in my face, if you were screaming in my face and spit touch me, I don't know. I can't say if I would not hit you or not get into a physical altercation. So I'm grateful that that kid has some restraint, and sometimes teachers, we got to remember, like I tell my students, if your parents were sitting watching through that window, would you have that same behavior? And when you say no, think about it, teacher. If you had a camera in your room and the parents could see what you were doing, would you have that same behavior? And when I asked myself that, my answer was no. So then I had to try to calm myself down, find ways to help me stay calm instead of crashing out. And then now that whole thing, you've taken up the whole class time, so you take away learning from everybody else. When you have to go back and forth with a student, you set the expectation. This is what I expect. If he on the phone again, sir, please leave. There we go. I'm writing the referral. Boys and girls, while I'm teaching, I'm writing the referral. Please leave. Thank you. And in high school, you can do it more. In elementary school, they take them and bring them right back. But most time in high school, after so many times, you're not going to get to come back to class. And so you are losing the opportunity to learn. And that's what I tell my students. When I have students like that, please don't lose your opportunity to learn. Now let's keep moving. So, think like that, teachers. When y'all having to correct somebody, you don't want to waste your attention on that once, not waste, but don't spend so much attention on that behavior and forget about the students who are making good choices. It's hard to do, but sometimes that's why I get my mirror. I talk to myself, calm down, Mr. Demby, even though he's not doing what you asked him to do. Just you forget about him and try to focus on the class. Talk to yourself so that kids can see you come from here and they can learn the steps to move down from there. That's what you have to do instead of crashing out all the time. And sometimes there is a need for a crash out, because sometimes I believe kids, they need to know that you're a little bit crazy. Sometimes you got to let them kids know, honey, don't play with me. Let's watch this last crash out of this teacher. This one is he just being silly, but this teacher gets mad because kids are asking him questions.
Go, Prof! Go, Prof! Go!
Crashes out because the students ask too many questions.
Right. Don't put narration / description, narration and description. I'm very particular about these. These have specific names. What if somebody called you by the wrong name or something? It's closed.
What if you wrote character descriptive on that quiz? Can we not get our points back for that? It's like you're telling us now, and I didn't know that.
I told you during the class.
You discussed it, but you didn't say, like, this is how I want it rated.
I said it was narration.
What does narration mean and what does narrative mean? Are they the same thing?
Good question.
It's still the same concept, what it is, and somebody telling you.
You want me to change this and you're arguing me about what's the difference between narrative and narration? They're two different words. They don't mean exactly the same.
So what's the difference then? Can you tell us the difference?
And that narration is a rhetorical strategy and you're telling a story.
Right.
A narrative is a story.
Okay, so,
Okay, no, don't get mad, don't get mad. You're supposed to be a teacher, you're supposed to be teaching. We're just asking you questions.
You asked me questions and we got a lot to go over.
well then we should have went over the quiz a different day. Because we're all obviously still confused.
I tell you what, why don't you get your PhD and you can teach the class?
Now you got yours. You the teacher, so teach it.
It's our grade though. It's not like it's just a random question.
All right, screw it. We won't have it. You're having the departmental exam on Friday, okay? If you want to argue about this and not.
It's kind of teachers who feel like anytime you ask a question, they trying to argue. Those were valid questions. And just from your explanation, you didn't explain it right. So maybe you need to rethink, and how can I explain this? The difference between a narrative and a narration it is very similar. It's both telling a story. But I feel like the way I would explain it, a narration to me is you telling the story from the outside looking in. And a narrative is you telling personally what you know and experienced. That's the way I think. But I might be wrong. I don't teach English, I teach music. But if they didn't understand it, they're not trying to argue with you. They just asked a question. And so that's why when you have students who are not afraid to ask questions, those are the kind of students I need and want in my room. That's the way a thinker thinks. That's somebody who wants to do the work because they are excited about learning, but they don't understand. So they taking the time to ask questions because they want to know. And so for you to crash out because they ask questions, oh, do you want to get your doctorate degree? Now you got your doctorate degree and you teaching this class, so teach it. Anyway, y'all teachers, stop all that crashing out. Life is, what I learned when I used that stopped me from crashing out. I used to do that because, we got to finish this. I want to finish this. I want to finish this. But when you start teaching process over product, sometimes you might not finish it. Sometimes they may only learn the first 2 steps. They might not get to step 4. But if they can learn step 1 and 2 and how to figure out and navigate step 1 and 2, they may be willing to navigate step 3 and 4. That's what I learned as a music teacher. Long time ago, I used to try to make my kids play songs and have songs. And then I started teaching them how to learn and figure out to play songs that they wanted to play on their own. And then now they didn't finish it when they were with me, but some of my students come back, Mr. Demby, now I'm playing the guitar. Mr. Demby, now I'm playing this. Mr. Demby, now I'm doing this. Because when they get in middle school, they don't mind fighting through music theory and all of that other stuff to get to know, because they want to know it. They already learned the process of learning. And so now it's easy for them to learn and add to what they already know. So anyway, y'all teachers, try to calm down out there. It'll be all right. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I crash out. Like, I'm gonna say 90% of the time, I can be calm and cool and talk myself in the mirror, calm down. But sometimes that other 10% come out. And it ain't pretty, because sometimes I'm petty. I crash out. But anyway, y'all remember, where the spirit of learning is, there is liberty. Y'all have a good day. Stop that crashing out.